The Tale of Room 414. The four girls who shared Room 414 were sitting on the floor, chatting and laughing, when they were interrupted by a knock on the door. They heard the voice of the dormitory administrator say, "Room 414, I have a parcel for you." None of them were expecting a package in the mail, so they all wondered who it was from. Jamie got up and opened the door. She took the package from the hands of the administrator, then shut the door and went looking for a pair of scissors to open it. She tore off the wrapping paper and opened the package. When they saw what was inside, the girls were shocked. It was a glass ball that was crystal clear and seemed to be filled with some sort of liquid. "Who could have sent this?" Ashley asked. "Look at the name on the package," said Tatiana, as she picked up the brown paper wrapper and looked at the label. Jamie looked over her shoulder and exclaimed, "Anonymous, that's who. Maybe it's from a boy who has a crush on one of us, and he was too embarrassed to write his name on it," said Jamie. Suddenly, the dorm went dark. "Lights out," said Ashley, placing the glass ball on the table. The girls quickly washed and climbed to bed. Jamie finished brushing her teeth, and before lying down, she took another look at the shining glass ball on the table. In the darkness, it seemed to glow with a strange light shining from within. Jamie was tired, and as soon as she laid down and closed her eyes, she fell asleep. Before long, she was awoken by a loud noise. She rolled out of bed and walked to the door. Then, she saw a familiar figure emerge from the darkness. "Ashley, is that you?" she whispered. As the shadowy figure came towards her, she realized that it was indeed Ashley. But something was not right. In her hand, she seemed to be holding something. Jamie felt a chill run down her spine. She wanted to run away, but she couldn't move. Ashley was staring at her coldly, as if she didn't even know her. Even more frightening was that in her hands, she was holding a knife. The sharp, cold blade glinted in the moonlight. "Ashley, what are you?" Jamie didn't even have time to finish her sentence, because suddenly, she saw Ashley raise the dagger above her head. "Ah!" Jamie shrieked. Her first reaction was to run, but after a few steps, she bumped into someone else. It was Tatiana, but there was something wrong. Her hands were stained with blood, and she was holding a severed arm and chewing on it. Jamie gasped in horror and stumbled backwards. Her hands and legs were trembling. Ashley and Tatiana have become ghosts, she thought. And now they're gonna kill me too. In a panic, Jamie pushed Ashley and ran past her to the stairs. As she ran down the stairs, she bumped into someone else. It was Lily. For a moment, she was relieved. But again, she took a closer look. Lily didn't have any feet. Her eyes were staring straight ahead and her lips were moving. She kept repeating over and over, "Glass balls, glass balls, glass balls." Jamie pushed past her and tumbled down the stairs. The three ghosts were close at her heels. She had only one thought in her head. She needed to escape. When she reached the first floor, Jamie crashed through the double doors and raced down the hallway. She kept trying the doors but found all of them to be locked. Eventually, she found a janitor's closet that was open. She ducked inside and slammed the door behind her. Then, she piled up some old chairs against the door, barricading herself inside. She breathed a sigh of relief. All of a sudden, Jamie heard the sound of heavy footsteps coming down the hallway. Clump, 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 clump. She trembled with every step. Just then, she heard a tapping sound behind her. She twirled around, and her eyes grew wide with fright as she saw a deformed face pressed up against the window. It was the face of Lily. Her face was scrunched up against the glass, and she was slapping her hand against the rain-soaked window. Her mouth was still moving, and she seemed to be saying something Jamie couldn't make out. Jamie was almost crying now. She was in a pit of despair. "Why are they chasing me?" she thought. "What's happening? This is all too terrible." Jamie screamed, and lifting up a chair, she smashed the window. The glass shattered, and Lily's deformed face disappeared back into the rain. She collapsed on the floor, shaking and trembling. What could have made the three lovely girls turn into such terrible ghosts? She thought about the glass ball. Where had it come from? Could it be responsible for all of this madness? Perhaps, if she was able to break that glass ball, all of this would end. Jamie's mind was filled with questions, but for now, this was the only answer. When Jamie woke up, it was morning. The wind was blowing through the broken glass, and she was shivering with the cold. She listened at the door, but she couldn't hear anything. She pulled away the chairs, opened the door, and cautiously peeked out. The hallway was empty. Everything was silent. Ashley, Lily, and Tatiana were nowhere in sight. Jamie took a deep breath and made her way down the corridor to the stairs. She slowly walked up the steps and came to the door of her room. When she peeked inside, It's what she saw that made her immediately tense up. Ashley was crouching in the corner, her eyes still dull and her hands still covered in blood. She was still chewing on a severed arm. When she looked up, she stopped chewing and slowly got to her feet. She threw her head back, let out a strange laugh, and said, "Jamie, don't you come near me." Jamie shouted. Ashley was gliding slowly across the room, closing in. "What do you want from me?" Jamie cried, panic and fear making her burst into tears. "Your life. Your death." Ashley laughed, advancing step by step. "Why?" asked Jamie. "Well, we're like sisters, aren't we?" replied Ashley. "All four of us should be together. Now that three of us have become ghosts, don't you want to join us?" "No," Jamie shouted, violently shaking her head. "We are all under the influence of the glass ball. It has turned us all into ghosts. Everyone here. You're the only one still alive. You're the odd one out. But we want you to stay with us. We want you to join us." Jamie rushed across the room and grabbed the glass ball. As she felt it in her hand, she looked at it, still exuding a strange shimmer. Just destroy it, she thought. Then everything will be back to normal. So she did just that. Jamie held the glass ball above her head, and with all her strength, she slammed it against the ground. The glass ball smashed into a million little pieces, and a pool of glowing liquid spread across the floor. "It's over," she thought. "It's all over. We're safe now." Jamie leaned against the wall and let out a long sigh of relief. However, the next second, she stared in horror because she saw the pool of liquid from the glass ball growing larger and larger. It spread out across the floor, blocking her escape. And all of a sudden, the liquid formed into a bloody hand that stretched out to reach her. The next day, the police came to the university and found it inexplicably empty. Every single student and teacher had gone missing. All that remained was one badly decomposed body. It was found in room 414. The dead body was later identified as a teenage girl named Jamie.